All right. So, one of the big news things lately has been that Henry Cavill has left not just The Witcher, but also his role as Superman in the DC films. Now, what happened behind the scenes in both these instances is subject of rumor and speculation. I have speculated that there were major creative differences over The Witcher and the source material and how the show was going between the showrunner Lauren Hisrich and Henry Cavill. We saw some of this when a writer from The Witcher who had left and was doing a new project mentioned that he wanted to hire fans because so many of the writers on The Witcher would mock and deride the source material. We've since seen the showrunner of The Witcher come out and try to discredit that writer by pinning the blame for the Eskel episode on him. And I was going to make a video about that, but I'm going to make a video about this kind of bigger hit piece that ran in Jezebel and has since been taken down. Let's see. I would bone Henry Cavill, but only as The Witcher. Oh no, that's a different Jezebel piece. Sorry, that one's still up. But this one, Henry Cavill was allegedly dropped from Superman and The Witcher over toxic gamer bro behavior, has been pulled by the publication. They, as far as I know, have not given a reason for pulling it. It's just a dead link now, but the internet doesn't forget, so it's easy to just pull up to archive, which I'll link to in the description of this video. Basically, this article is just a total hit piece based entirely on anonymous sources that could be absolutely full of shit. As with most things like this, I think that if you peel back the layers, you probably do get a little glimpse of the truth. And it does sound like whoever this source is had some idea of what was going on behind the scenes and then framed it as Henry Cavill being this game-addled, gamer bro, QAnon, toxic, misogynistic piece of shit. But I have a different theory, given that we have just simply very little evidence that Cavill has ever been inappropriate or misogynistic on any other set, on any other project he's worked on. And has been described by many people as just super nice and a gentleman. This whole piece is by Kylie Chung and is based on this one anonymous source, and then is heavily editorialized to make him sound like a terrible person. Again, this is not a verified source. This is not some piece of investigative journalism. It's just, oh hey, here's a rumor, and we're gonna run with it. Full bore. No wonder they pulled it, but it's honestly unspeakable that they even ran this. I mean, just the headline itself, allegedly dropped from Superman and The Witcher over toxic gamer bro behavior, it's so accusatory, even though the word allegedly is in there. And really, there's nothing about Superman in this. This is an entirely Witcher-based bit, so throwing Superman in there is just very strange. Cavill is deeply addicted to video games to the point where it was like working with any other addict. He was distracted, he was late, he was obsessive, and a lot of people think that the misogyny came from gamer world. Video game bro language is not how you talk to coworkers, and he wouldn't stop. I don't know, I've heard Cavill speak a number of times, and I don't hear the gamer bro language there. Also, I'm sorry, but anyone who is in that good a shape and who trains that hard can't be that addicted to video games. You just don't have time, man. I write about video games and make YouTube videos about video games, and I barely have time to do the basic amount of human stuff I need to do in a day. Instead of cooperating with the show's women leaders and set workers, the insider claims Cavill, quote, formed a weird alliance with one writer who was also a gamer. Really going after the gamers. The writer, quote, eventually got fired after multiple HR complaints were made, end quote. And that after that writer's departure, Dumois source, this podcast that this was leaked on, Dumois source claims Cavill did anything he could to hold up production and cause problems. These antics have ultimately led to Cavill's departure. And a quote here, eventually top brass at Netflix was tired of him costing them money with delays and HR investigations. The showrunner was asked to construct a potential exit for him. Netflix reached out to him personally. He was given one final warning and violated that warning with an email he sent to the entire writing staff right after that meeting. That was it. Here's some more. According to Dumoy, the insider said, someone on the show compared Cavill's gamer bro radicalization to, quote, watching someone get brainwashed by QAnon. They explained, quote, his whole personality shifted. Eventually his disrespect escalated. This disrespect led to Cavill rewriting scenes without alerting other actors until moments before the scenes were shot. Quote, he decided that he didn't want any romantic scenes at all. No kissing, no shirtless scenes, Dumoy continued. Additionally, Cavill, quote, wanted complete control of storylines. So, that's an interesting bit. He didn't want any romantic scenes, no shirtless scenes. Imagine trying to throw a female actress under the bus for not wanting topless scenes or sex scenes in a show that she was the star of. Can you imagine Jezebel writing something like that? Like, they're framing all of this as this horribly negative thing, and here, this is a guy who doesn't want his character to be sexualized more than he already has been in this show. It's unbelievable. If you're not fully inclined to believe an anonymous gossip account, I get it, but there's a pretty extensive paper trail of less than feminist comments and behavior from Cavill. Oh, she brings up this bit. So here's a quote taken out of context, and you know that a writer's a hack with an agenda if they just really purposely cherry pick something. So he told Men's Fitness that he became overexcited while filming a sex scene for the Tudors in the 2000s. Quote, a girl had to be on top of me. She had spectacular breasts, and I hadn't rearranged my stuff into a harmless position. She's basically rubbing herself all over me, and it got a bit hard. So in this interview, he's actually asked. Let me pull it up. So the interviewer at Men's Fitness, I ask him what every guy who's ever watched a movie sex scene has wondered. Has he ever found himself unintentionally aroused on set? Now here's Cavill. It's only happened to me once, he admits, and it was very embarrassing. A girl had to be on top of me. She had spectacular breasts, and I hadn't rearranged my stuff into a harmless position. She's basically rubbing herself all over me, and it got a bit hard. I had to apologize profusely afterwards. It's not great when you're in a professional acting environment and somebody gets a boner, is it? No, not acceptable. Do you see how they just leave out the part where he's asked this question? I know maybe he should have said no comment. Maybe that would have been a wiser choice, but he answers it, and then he talks about how he apologized profusely. And I'm pretty sure that the actress probably understood. I mean, like, you can't help an accidental boner, okay? And, like, yes, it's super embarrassing when that happens, and it's very, very decent of him to apologize for it. And I'm sure, like, I don't know, like, I guess this is why now they have intimacy coordinators, right? I'm pretty sure they didn't back then. But just to try to throw him under the bus by taking this comment totally, I mean, they linked to it. They knew they were taking this quote out of context, and they did it anyways. So this is what I see here. Okay, this is a very obvious hit piece. This is a very obvious attempt to slander and smear Henry Cavill after his departure from The Witcher and change the narrative. And I don't know, I don't know if this is the people still working on The Witcher who are trying to coordinate this, or if this is just some mean-spiritedness from the press. But what I get an impression of is that there, like I speculated from the outset, there were major creative differences between Cavill and the showrunner and writers. And there were two factions, basically. Cavill and one other, I think Beau DeMaio is the writer, I'm assuming, who's the one who said that, other writers on the show were mocking the source material. I get this, that there was two factions that were at war with one another over the direction of the show, and Cavill, being the star, perhaps presumptuously, perhaps not, tried to wrest control away from the people he thought were making a mess of things. Now, I don't know about you, but season 2 was a major decline in quality from season 1, so I can understand why he was trying to do this. Now, maybe it wasn't a great idea. Maybe he did just cause a lot of trouble. But also, maybe Netflix bet on the wrong faction. If they did try to remove Cavill, if this was not Cavill choosing to leave but getting booted because he was tough to work with, because there was too much interscene warfare going on. They now have a Witcher show without the one thing about it that everyone universally agreed on was the best part, which was Cavill's performance as Geralt. So now they're going to now they've recast with Luke Hemsworth, and somehow expect to continue making this show and having it be a success. I'm sorry, but after season 3, The Witcher's over. The new Witcher Blood Origin show is getting panned by reviewers, and it's done. Like, you maybe, just theoretically, Netflix should have said, well, the person who knows the most about this and is the most passionate is Henry Cavill. Maybe we should put him in charge with a team of writers that he gets to pick himself and see what happens. Maybe we'll make a more faithful adaptation of the source material. But no, they're going with the people who have basically run the show into the ground in season 2. So we'll see. I have absolutely 0% hope. 0% hope that this show will be able to continue after season 3 successfully. No ding against Hemsworth. It's just it's too huge of a casting shift. Just cancel it, Netflix. That's what you like to do. That's what you do best. Cancel shows that deserve to be at least finished. Now we have Cavill moving on to Warhammer 40,000 and working with women over there. So one of the only people he name dropped when they announced this was a woman. But apparently, because there are women who work on The Witcher and he had creative differences with them, he's hard to work with as a woman. It can't just be people having creative differences. It has to be framed as this misogyny thing. And it's such a cop-out. So anyways, I won't go on any further about that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see more hit pieces come down the pipeline. I'm amazed that Jezebel actually pulled this one. But of course, it was obviously the right thing to do, given that it's just completely based on rumors by someone who could be a total liar. So I guess we'll see what comes from this. If I was Cavill, if I was in his camp, if I was his publicist, oh yeah, I'd be pissed. So, all right, we can all look forward to Warhammer 40,000 at least. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Peace.